Shh, shh. What does that mean? You're not supposed to use your phone when you're in such places, like a library, for instance. Then you're in the supermarket as well. A whole lot of things. And many places where people are, um, I won't say maybe ignorant of other people, right? They think they're in their home. So you're in a reception in a restaurant, or you're in the reception of a hotel. You're not going to put your feet on the desk or on the table as if, and you're watching the TV as if you're in your sitting room, right? So people wouldn't like that. I've seen cases where some people are in they're in the not waiting room. There's a public place where you can sit down in a hotel, right? And some people have taken off their shoes, put their feet on the table, and their hand behind them. They're watching the news and like, hey, this is not your sitting room. You don't do things like that. Then when you talk about dining environments, you're in a restaurant. I have literally seen people, and I've done videos on it as well, where they've given you a napkin. It's for your hands. Wipe your hands down because you're about to eat. Then guess what happens? You see them using the same napkin to wipe their face, to wipe their hair. I've seen them do this. I'm like, oh, this is not the bathroom. So it's really about perception and how you want people to see you when you're in a public place.
When in the public, it is important to be courteous and respectful of others. You might not always know the rules, but if you make a genuine effort to be considerate of others with the intent not to disturb them, the conscious effort would show.
For me, I would love to see an environment where when we see something that is not right, we correct. I've done that severally, and I'm brave enough to do that. And most times when I finish speaking to the person says sorry, because maybe at the time they were doing it, they didn't realize how bad it was and the consequences to another person. But most times you find that they are truly sorry because it just didn't come down to that.
The rules of behavior when we're in public vary from culture to culture.
If you've ever been to Singapore and you're in a public train or any public environment, you're not allowed to chew chewing gum. And they made it a law. And so now people are very conscious. Don't chew chewing gum, you get fined, you can be imprisoned. So they've made it part and parcel of their life.
However, culture is an ever-evolving phenomenon that changes as the needs of the people changes. We all have rights, but it has limitations where the exercise of your rights begins to infringe on the rights of others. Behaviors such as playing music or videos loudly on your phone in public, receiving calls loudly in public places, or even blowing horns arbitrarily can be seen as offensive. Here are some common etiquette to take note of in public. Offer up your seat. If you're in perfectly good health, offer your seat to anyone who is either in poor health or pregnant. Make commuting easier for those who need it. Let the waiter come to you. Never yell or wave your hand at a waiter while dining. Make their job easier by being patient or politely get their attention when they pass by. Know your audience. Be aware of who's around before engaging in hot topics. Respecting people's sensibilities is the proper way to behave. Make sure to tip. Tipping is essential for certain employees to make a decent income. Make sure to leave a tip as a token of your gratitude whenever possible, even services you might not think of like a haircut or dog grooming. Say excuse me. It's the polite thing to do when you bump into someone. Even if you're not really the one to blame, why not just avoid conflict and brush off the situation? Use a coaster. Spilling isn't the only way to make a mess with your cold beverage. Say please and thank you, especially to those closest to you. Smile at the cashier, the bank teller, the security man, your co-worker, even if he or she doesn't smile back. Hold the door for the person behind you, and if someone holds the door for you, remember to say thank you. Step outside to answer your phone calls. Sometimes you have to take an important call. It is important to step outside to take your call because it's not fun to hear your conversation when we're trapped behind you in a line. Give people a pass. Cranky salesperson, nasty driver, you have no idea what's going on with that person right now. You don't have to reward ugly behavior with your own nastiness, which only perpetuates the cycle. Look at the person who's speaking to you. It is polite to listen to people who are talking to you and not just type away on your smartphone. Let someone go in front of you in line. Cough or sneeze into your elbow. Put your smartphone away during meals. Be on time. Ask before posting. Not everyone wants to be all over social media, and you're not a reporter, so stop spreading the news. Keep the noise down at work. Silence the ringer on your phone. Speak quietly and turn the sound down on your dinging emails so it's not bugging everyone you work with. Wash your hands after using the bathroom. Park your shopping cart on the side of the aisle. Ask permission to use someone's first name. Clean up after yourself, at home, at work, at a friend's house. Ask before bringing a guest. Don't assume they're automatically invited no matter how well you know your host or hostess. Stay at home when you're sick. Reach out to people who are grieving. Don't pretend nothing happened. If you don't know what to do or say, you can simply say you're sorry. Let people get off the elevator first before you get on. The same rules apply to trains and buses. Silence your smartphone at the movies and stop crinkling that candy wrapper so loudly while you're at it. Help someone who's clearly struggling. The next time you see someone straining to reach something on the highest shelf at the grocery store, help him or her out. Skip controversial or nosy topics at parties. Politics, religion, or asking when they're getting pregnant or how much weight they lost. Those topics are sensitive and should be off the table. When you enter a room, greet everyone. Return calls. If someone takes the time to leave you a voicemail, take the time to call him or her back. Use an earphone or headphone in public while scrolling through social media. Who has the right of way? Nigerian roads come with a lot of chaos. The chaos is caused by a combination of drivers, motorcycle and tricycle riders, pedestrians, and sellers who all claim the right of way. The chain of right of way holders in Nigeria is hierarchical, and car and motor drivers are at the top of the chain with pedestrians at the bottom. Car or motor drivers believe that they always have the right of way regardless, and motorcycle and tricycle riders don't even have any regard for who has the right of way. For fear of accidents and their lives, pedestrians have learned to cower. When a collision occurs, the question of who has the right of way is on the lip of all concerned as they try to figure out who is guilty. The law doesn't grant anyone the right of way, but you yield it to other road users under these circumstances. At a yield sign, to pedestrians in a crosswalk, to persons using a seeing eye guide dog, to persons using a white cane with or without a red tape, at T intersections where you must yield to vehicles on the through road, at uncontrolled intersections where vehicles are already in the intersection, when driving on an unpaved road that intersects with a paved road, when returning to the roadway after a car is parked. Pedestrians must always be yielded the right of way at intersections and crosswalks. Treat bicycles as motor vehicles. Yield to bicyclists in all situations where you would yield to a car. For example, wait for an oncoming bicycle to pass before turning left. Turn right at a red light if it's permitted and no vehicles are approaching. If you see a sign that says "No right turn on red," then you must wait for the light to turn green again. Otherwise, you must turn right at a red light after yielding to oncoming traffic. Stop for pedestrians who've begun crossing the road. Once a pedestrian has begun crossing the road, they have the right of way. You should also stop for pedestrians waiting to cross at crosswalks that aren't controlled by a traffic light. Yield to oncoming traffic if you're entering a main road.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Yes, with 2024 in sight, many, if not all of us, will be paying attention to how to make it a year with a difference in our homes, in our businesses, and our very choices. Today on Today with John and Helen live, we will be having someone check his crystal ball and predict how corporate women will scale up in the new year. Welcome to the show, Today with John and Helen live. I am John Sanaya, and I'm happy to be here with you as always.
And for starters, on this show with John and Helen, we will be looking inwards at the greatness of African flavors and how we as Africans are faring in the global cuisine space. Are we unraveling the secret behind our glorious jollof rice? Our guests should tell us all about that. I want to welcome you specially to the show. I'm Oma Helen Odele, and we have with us our lady with a beautiful smile, Chizobam Ofegu. Chizobam will be talking about storytelling with her guests and undoing the demonization of African culture. Chizobam, how far?
I mean, that will be very telling. But you know what, Helen, I can tell you for sure and for free that this discussion will be an eye-opener for all of us. You don't even want to imagine how battering our mindsets have been subjected to over the years. How much battery our mindsets have been subjected to over the years. Cultural conversations on this program today with John and Helen live. It's going to be bam, bam.
Bam.
And that's coming from Bam.
Scary.
Bam.
Wow. Looking forward to the Bam Bam session, which is up. And well, before we do that, let's check what's been happening around the streets. You've been around town. You've been very busy this week. What to think of?
I have been very busy this week. And of course, what I noticed, if I said to myself that shouldn't we just replace these keke napeps with, we should go back to the Okada bikes?
Why?
Because they're a greater threat to our lives now. The keke napep people, the way, it's like they try to imagine themselves as cars, and on the other hand, they remain as bikes. So I think something really has to be done to check them.
I think it's not about the vehicle. For me,
Okay.
I think it's about the riders.
Oh yeah, all put
Because
together.
the people you see riding or driving those things don't look like riders or drivers one bit. And in fact, I had an experience this morning, so I agree with you
Yes.
that the government of Lagos State needs to take another look.
Yes.
In fact, the transport ministry needs to take another look at that.
Yes.
You know, true. Any other issue? What did you?
I mean, still on the bike issue, like, are you going to the markets and kekes, there's a restriction limit to where they can go into.
Yes.
So like this Christmas period where the markets are going to be very crowded,
Yeah.
we have pregnant women and everything who have to navigate these inroads on their feet. I
Yeah.
think bikes need to come back.
Bikes need to come
Yeah,
back.
bikes need to come back. They do.
What an irony.
Okay.
Irony of
Anything
fate.
government has done awfully, beautifully, well.
Oh yeah, well, let's talk about Lagos State government. I'm enjoying all the new bridges.
Yeah.
The one at
Yeah.
Tejo Show, the one at Oyingbo, and the other one at
I said
Ikeja.
it. You've been about town.
I've
Yeah,
been about town.
apparently. You really
I'm really, really enjoying those bridges. So
Okay.
thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thank you.
When
Thank
you
you,
do well,
Lagos.
we acknowledge that and we say well done. So well done to our own governor, Lagos State, and everybody else in the team that's helping us to enjoy these smart city.
Yeah.
Yes, it's getting
Smart
smarter
city.
by the day, yeah? Okay. I will take a break just about now. Today with John and Helen live returns in just a moment. Please, please, please don't go away.
An African girl somewhere is sitting at home, accompanied by dreams that seem so far away. Africa is one of the continents with the highest out-of-school percentage in education, and girls are at an early disadvantage. The sub-Saharan Africa records about 18 million out-of-school girls. This gender gap extends to the tech space with a projection of only a 33% global female workforce representation in tech firms for 2022. Let us help change the stories and numbers. Africa Agility's Project Train a Girl campaign is working to help train African girls in tech. You can donate as little as $2 or 2,000 naira to help a girl in tech get her heels in the door. Visit www.africaagility.rallyup.com/PTAG to donate.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
has the right of way? Nigerian roads come with a lot of chaos. The chaos is caused by a combination of drivers, motorcycle and tricycle riders, pedestrians, and sellers who all claim the right of way. The chain of right of way holders in Nigeria is hierarchical, and car and motor drivers are at the top of the chain with pedestrians at the bottom. Car or motor drivers believe that they always have the right of way regardless, and motorcycle and tricycle riders don't even have any regard for who has the right of way. For fear of accidents and their lives, pedestrians have learned to cower. When a collision occurs, the question of who has the right of way is on the lip of all concerned as they try to figure out who is guilty. The law doesn't grant anyone the right of way, but you yield it to other road users under these circumstances. At a yield sign, to pedestrians in a crosswalk, to persons using a seeing eye guide dog, to persons using a white cane with or without a red tip, at T intersections where you must yield to vehicles on the through road, at uncontrolled intersections where vehicles are already in the intersection, when driving on an unpaved road that intersects with a paved road, when returning to the roadway after a car is parked. Pedestrians must always be yielded the right of way at intersections and crosswalks. Treat bicycles as motor vehicles. Yield to bicyclists in all situations where you would yield to a car. For example, wait for an oncoming bicycle to pass before turning left. Turn right at a red light if it's permitted and no vehicles are approaching. If you see a sign that says no right turn on red, then you must wait for the light to turn green again. Otherwise, you must turn right at a red light after yielding to oncoming traffic. Stop for pedestrians who've begun crossing the road. Once a pedestrian has begun crossing the road, they have the right of way. You should also stop for pedestrians waiting to cross at crosswalks that aren't controlled by a traffic light. Yield to oncoming traffic if you're entering a main road.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity. No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV. Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
All right, this is Today with John and Helen live, and you're watching us from Plus TV Africa. We are on DSTV channel 408 and Star Times 308. The Christmas frenzy has kicked in, And I'm beginning to wonder, with all the financial pressure that we've gone through this year, you know, we're beginning to refer to 2023 as if it's gone. We're still in 2023. And I will be able to have all of the thrills and the frills of Christmas as we always do. That's our prayer.
Huge question, Helen. Huge. And as we inch closer and closer to Christmas, things are beginning to move at such an unbelievable pace. It's frightening. We will be having our guest on the show, and I'm really so excited about it. Guest should be talking about how much impact African spices have had around the world. Our guest is here with us, and she's waiting too. Yeah?
Yes, she is here, and our first guest is Chef Obehi Ehomo, owner and executive chef at Honor Lagos. An honor cloud who has helped shape the conversation around Nigerian food and Nigerian spirits while restoring pride and continuous growth for the local farmers and artisans. Obehi has been a panel judge in several local and global food competitions such as the Kitchen Nigeria, the world's 50 best restaurants, and was featured in this year's BBC's Africa Renaissance series by Afua Hirsch and Ebony Magazine, amongst many others. She was raised between the US, Nigeria, and South Africa, picking up a diverse range of culinary influences along the way. And that's why she's here on the show today. John, take it over.
Yes, and I must add that she graduated from South Africa's top culinary school after obtaining a business management and international business degree from the Ella College of Management at the University of Arizona. And since returning to Nigeria in 2016, she has successfully built a high, reputable brand in the food and beverage industry.
Awesome.
Huge.
Awesome, huge. So now, Chief Obehi.
Chef
Obehi, welcome to the show. We call it today with John and Helen Live, and it's a family, lifestyle, impactful show that we have once every week. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And you're looking like, what are these people talking about? Kind of. I like your chef outing. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
John?
Yeah, well, before we fire our questions, Chef Obehi.
Yes,
Yeah. Can I just say Obehi?
Obehi sounds good.
Obehi sounds good. So tell us, what in the world inspired you to take such a rare interest in flavors and spices?
I believe in the layering of indigenous ingredients. I believe in using ancestral techniques. So
ancestral techniques.
Yes. So age old. So fermentation, drying, salting. So in Nigeria, we actually have a lot of that we actually do, but we don't talk enough about it. For example, the iru, the salted fish. We have our fermented rice, which is our ofada. Yeah. There's a lot of things that we do to preserve food. So when I say ancestral, I'm talking more about how did we, back in the day, preserve food and increase the flavor, like amplify flavors, right? So at Honor, which is my restaurant, Honor Lagos, we actually focus a lot on how to marry tradition and innovation. Right.
Tradition and innovation.
Yes.
Okay, and it gives, of course, you're all about the flavor and also the benefits, of the food that we eat. Now, how would you describe the African flavor? The Indians have theirs, the Arabs have theirs, and so on. So what's ours?
So the thing is, I will start by defining flavor, right? Flavor is basically a culmination of taste, which is like the saltiness, the sweetness, sourness, bitterness, piquancy, umami, what the taste buds can feel, right? And then there's aroma. So we actually flavor is not just taste buds, it's actually what you smell. For example, I can cook and I can smell when food is done, when it's ready, right? You can actually smell the salinity, you can smell a lot of things, you can pick up flavors and different parts of food if you actually attune your senses to these things. Right? And then there's mouthfeel. You put something in your mouth, how does it, for example, I'm sure you would say that, say for example, my mom's banga is the best bang I've ever had,
Okay.
right? It's emotional. It's about how you feel. It's about, yeah, just, I mean, I feel like the heart tastes as much as the tongue tastes, you know.
Okay.
So
the African flavor takes care of all of that.
the African
smell.
flavor has a lot of that. It has, I believe the African flavor is bold heat, umami. We have that like nice saltiness. We have also, there is also a way in which we do, like the smell, the palm oil. There's something about what we do that is just fantastic.
The mama puts
Right?
in,
Yes.
You know, the
yes.
home
Yes.
I like the aspect of the sentiments behind
Yes.
the
There's a lot of sentiment.
behind the spices, and that's really true. Come to
Yes.
think of it.
Uh-huh.
Now, now that we have witnessed an upsurge in exporting our Nigerianness to the world, I have a question for you on that as it affects our flavors and our spices. Now, when you say positioning African flavors in the global cuisine, do we mean creating actual products like spices, you know, a curated food experience, or both?
I believe it has to be a double-edged sword. It has to be both. It has to be a two-pronged approach, right?
Okay.
So at Ona, for example, we are very big on creating flavors that are uniquely Ona. So that's the culinary creations I was trying to explain about earlier. So we, for example, we have a chili sauce that we basically create that is, we mix a few African chilies, Nigerian chilies with African chilies, and we ferment it for 7 days. So it ages. It ages beautifully, and it's not too spicy. It doesn't burn. The bold heat I talk about, it doesn't burn like your tongue in front.
palate,
It like just literally like coats, and it's like it enhances the flavors of the cuisine. So I believe that, for example, you take that chili, for example, and take a few other things that I feel like we need to actually how do I put this, harness in our ingredients. So what we do is we take an ingredient, right, and we try to find out the best way to pay it the full respect to that particular ingredient. So every ingredient has the respect that it's paid to it. So culinary creations is definitely important, but also the experience is also very important. I believe there has to be a warmth, like you're eating African food. For example, dining at Ona.
Already, yeah.
Okay, at some point when we started this conversation, you mentioned something like we haven't, or we are not talking enough about the African cuisine and the African flavor. So, in a summarized fashion, what is our penetration plan, or your penetration plan, for realizing this goal, the goal of having to talk more and getting people to know more about the African flavor?
I believe food is a very strong language. Food is a language of change, right? I believe we can use our African ingredients and our food here as a soft power. And it's also like a journey back to self, right? And also like understanding what it is that our forefathers have done, how they did it, why they did it. You understand? Penetration plan will most likely include having more of what we do, like having more very majestic Nigerian dining experiences where everything is thought out, the whole dining experience from walking into sitting down. And not just having it here in Africa, but having it, basically like globalize it.
Festivals, kind of.
That would be beautiful, of course. That would be definitely beautiful. We need to experience our culture in our own way, right?
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
This is beginning to sound like wine tasting for me. The way you've been able to pick the individual tastes of African blends, of spices, and it's so exciting. Now, what core resources are needed, to help African chefs, realize this goal? With respect to the human capital, the financial support, government partnership maybe, and other things.
I think definitely government needs to play a role in that because a lot of the young creatives today, they need support. They need amplification of their voices, of what they're trying to do. The economy has gotten really difficult this year in particular.
Can't say that again.
Yes, and everyone feels it, But for creatives, it could be discouraging because I mean, you can't create in survival mode. It's really difficult.
You can't create in survival.
Yes, you need to have a certain level of, yeah, it's difficult. So definitely there needs to be support from government, from, I guess, like capital raise and all these other things, the festival you're talking about. Maybe use that to also like help assist and, you know, garner resources.
Okay. For being, you being in this space, you should be able to tell us how we're doing, you know, and when I mean how we're doing, I mean how are Africans across the globe, you know, how are they faring with regards to opening up more opportunities, more restaurants, African-based restaurants in a lot more countries besides Nigeria, you know, around the world. How well are we doing?
I believe we could do better. I feel like there's definitely room for change, but we're doing well right now. The conversation around African, especially West African food, is beautiful at the moment, thanks to places like Ikoyi London, Eton here in Nigeria. There's a few other restaurants that are doing really well, of course, Ona.
You know, Nigerians travel abroad, and
Yeah.
really, when they come home, it's like they're famished, they've been deprived of the African flavor and the
flavors,
African
the experience,
food.
yeah.
So I'm like, what happens to all of the places you live out there? Don't you have enough of that?
It goes back to the emotional thing, right? It's what you've been raised on. There's a nostalgia. You've been raised on African cuisine. You go anywhere else, you're longing for it. Just like Koreans, just like Chinese, just like anybody else in the world. You know, they're longing for their nostalgia, for their childhood experiences. You know, so I would say that we are doing a good job, but definitely there needs to be a bit more promotion. Even like what you said earlier, like by government and whatnot. We need to have more restaurants. We need to have more food festivals that are, you know, but it would take time. But the conversation is looking good, I would say. It's looking
The
good.
conversation is looking good, and the competition is also looking good. I'm making reference to the Jollof war between Nigeria and Ghana. But what it says to me, actually, is that jollof rice in Ghana would taste different from jollof rice in Nigeria, even different parts of Nigeria, because of the way we have picked our
ingredients.
You know,
the terroir, a lot of things.
What do you have to say about that?
I love both.
Honestly,
Honestly,
I love. More healthy.
The war is healthy because I do believe that it shows passion.
Yes.
It shows passion for I mean your food, and it makes the world actually look and focus that what are they talking about? I want to taste this. I want to know more about this. It helps. It boosts the conversation. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I haven't had the taste of the Ghanaian jollof rice.
The shito makes it really good. Yeah.
Okay, so as we get ready to wind up this conversation, would you say that you know, this competition and awareness creation and all of it, does it help in promoting and penetrating the flavors and African cuisine globally? And what more needs to be done?
I think we need to also, as individuals, look at our cuisine from a different angle. I believe that it's almost like with the sea finish, which it shouldn't be, right? It's something where we need to also not think about our cuisine as it's only at home that we'll pay this amount. We should see that our cuisine can actually be put on an international fine dining stage.
Especially
and
with
do
social media buzz. I mean,
yes.
A lot of people are now having all kinds of restaurants online. You know, you don't need the space anymore.
No, ghost kitchens work too. Yeah, I think it's just the mindset. We need to understand that our food is fantastic, and I mean, what we do, we take the underdogs of the African kitchen and we elevate it to stardom. Yeah. So we need to also see that our food is fantastic, and we need to not, it's also, we need to see that we're way more than meets the eye. And it's funny because it's actually Asians and other cultures that see our ingredients and like, what? It's amazing, you know? But our ingredients are amazing, and we need to see it for what it is so we can actually elevate it, and, you know. So it starts with also self.
Yeah.
I think it starts with self.
For me, what's left is just an invitation from Chef Obey
To go to see you.
So, do I have an invitation?
Of course, sure.
You know, they say that food is what you eat is who you are. Yeah, food. So it's not about the flavor alone, but about the health benefits. You know, it's what kind of food you eat that keeps you alive or leads you closer to, you know, the other end. Quickly, in a minute, talk to me about the health value of the African cuisine and its flavor.
No, I believe it's deeply healthy. Our cuisine is we're on healthy diet. Although the palm oil does come into play, but then palm oil actually is quite healthy. I would argue that, you know, because I know a lot of people like talk crap about palm oil, but it's really healthy. It's not like regular vegetable oil and whatnot, but it does heal. Maybe not cooked over a long time, because when it's cooked over a long time, it does lose a lot of the nutrients. Not a lot of it also, of course. So maybe less of it, more like water-based, you know. But yeah, our cuisine is quite good, and I think it's quite healthy. It just depends on like less swallow.
Okay.
That's filler. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's another level, you know, for another conversation.
For another conversation.
But right about now, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, in the past, when they say chef, we're looking at, you know, those Oyibo people with long cap. You know, so the chefs are coming closer to us now, and we feel good about that. Thank you for coming to the show this morning.
Well, shouldn't we just set up our cuisine corner?
Yes, so
today
regular.
With John and Helen, and we have Chef Obey with us, you know, to tell people more about our flavors and our spices. So, thank you so much, Chef Obey.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you, John.
Thank you. All right, so I'm sure we have asked all the questions that you would have loved to ask. We hope, you know, and she has obliged us. She's here, and you've heard all that you needed to hear about her special cuisine at Ona here in Nigeria, and a lot more African and Nigerian-based restaurants and cuisines across the world. If you haven't been trying anything special, I think you should from this point. We'll take a very quick break just to get us ready and you ready to meet our second guest. It's today with John and Helen live to go with.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
For me, I wanted to change that culture. I didn't believe that until you see a white man or you see a foreigner in the kitchen before you can believe that, you know, good food is going to come out of that kitchen.
You can leverage on each other's spaces and, you know, sell. We believe in Nigeria, right? We believe that Nigeria can get better. We, the youth, are the ones that can make it better.
And my products are proudly made in Nigeria.
Made in Niger, showing every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. and repeats on Saturday at 8:30 a.m.
Thanks a million for your company. This is Still Today with John and Helen Live, coming to you from Plus TV Africa, channels 408 DSTV and 308 Star Times. We are a family-friendly show, and our aim is to get you better as a family, get you better in your business and whatsoever it is that you're up to. And today we have a guest. Our second guest for the show is Dr. Abiola Salami, and I'm sure a lot of people will be asking me at this point, what's a Salami doing in our terrain, and I mean in our world as women? Yes, Dr. Abiola Salami is one of those women-friendly men, and he's looking to helping women scale up their businesses and progresses in the year 2024. And he's looking through his crystal ball at this moment, and helping the corporate women come 2024.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Dr. Abiola Salami is the convener of the Peak Performer TM and Principal Performance Strategy at CHAMP, a full-scale professional services firm. He's an alumnus of Harvard University, LBS, and American Government International Visitor Leadership Program, that's the IVLP. He is a member of the prestigious Forbes Coaching Council. He holds doctorate degree in behavioral modification and performance improvement by California Metropolitan University. He is the editor-in-chief and publisher of the Peak Performer Africa. He's also the convener of the Peak Performing Woman of the Year, an initiative dedicated to empowering and celebrating women. He is also an author of Get Mad, You Can Make a Difference, which has a foreword by Dr. Christopher Kolade, CON, who says, it's a man's world, forward by Dr. Mo Abudu. The Magic of Emotional Intelligence, forward by Professor Dana H. Bourne of Harvard University. And his latest work is The Peak Performing Woman's Companion, with a special review by Lady Maiden Alex Ebro.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow. Well, let me just quickly add that Abiola was awarded one of United Nations top 100 most influential people of African descent class of 2020. Other awards include Africa's most influential coaching leaders by the duo of African Leadership Awards and World HRD Congress, and Global Coaching Champions 2021 by World Coaching Congress. Awesome. Profile.
We said that together.
Profile, Dr. Abiola Salami. I wish we had you right here, live in the studio. But not to worry, having you over there is good enough. Welcome to the show. We call it today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I'm sure that sometimes
chop up, just chop up, yeah.
So we'll do the in studio thing very soon. I'm sure one of the Saturdays I'll be right then with you.
So, Dr. Abiola Salami, I'll go back to Helen's first question. What are you looking for in a woman's world?
Great question. I think that I am in our world, and that world, I mean the human world, every one of us. I'm in that world, and I said this to you some years ago when I released my first book dedicated to women. The title of the book was "Who Says It's a Man's World?" forward by Dr. Mo Abudu.
Okay.
And so there were women reading the book, gaining insights, and then they keep sending us emails, to just appreciate the work we're doing. And the interesting thing with the mails they sent to us is their opening of the email always is, my dear sister, thank you very much for the great work you are doing. And initially we were wondering why were women thinking that it's only a woman.
Has to be a woman.
That this has to be a woman. But what we found that, my name is unisex. If you understand
Abiola.
your so they assume that the person is female. And what I believe is that you don't necessarily have to be part of a demography for you to create solutions and intervention for the demography. That is what empathy really means. Empathy means that you've taken time, to dedicate your resources to unearthing the issues and providing strategic insights to help deal with the issue.
Correct.
I strongly believe that we don't have to be anti-man to be pro-woman. Neither do we have to be pro-man to be anti-woman. And many times when people are having this conversation, they just assume that, the moment you are for women, it means you're against men, or the moment you are for men, it means you're against women. If we really want to build an inclusive society, which is what the conversation is, inclusion, if we want to really build an inclusive society, we must ensure that we empower women, celebrate women, and we must ensure that as well we don't overcompensate, which is what a lot of individuals and organizations are doing. So we're talking about inclusion and equality. And then you see that there are a lot of interventions that are moving from
Information, enlightenment, and education that benefits whoever you are, woman or man. Yeah? That's established.
Yes.
So right now, Dr. Salami, in the context of corporate environments, what specific challenges over the years do women often encounter that you have found out, and how can they navigate these challenges effectively in the new year, 2024?
Great question. Great question. And there are a number of them, but I want to focus on one because of our time. And that one is imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. And let us first understand what this imposter syndrome thing means. It is a self-doubting tendency that a woman has that leads her, to feel skeptical or undeserving of her accomplishments. So now she's no more on the bottom of the food chain. She's been elevated. So she's seeing herself, that, so I have all these people now reporting to me. or oh, I'm the one that delivered this performance and everybody's appreciating me. Now, it doesn't mean she's now a C-level executive at the very top of the organization yet. Even the fact that she has risen from level 1 to 2, 2 to 3. And so there's that tendency, for that woman to continue to feel skeptical or undeserving of the accomplishment, saying, oh me, I know, how could I have, been in this place? And then she's actually in the place, she's in the office, they're bringing her approvals to sign. She's seeing that she's now the big madam, in this organization. And something in her head, there are whispers, somebody will say village people, there are whispers saying that, you're just a woman, you're not good enough. You're too young to be this. Your family, nobody from your family has done this before. So really they will take this away from you soon. And then the woman is in the office, but she's unable to function effectively in the office because of the things going on in her mind. And you see, according to research, one of the big 4 consulting firms in the world conducted a research not too long ago. And their research revealed that almost 75% of female executives across industries have faced imposter syndrome. Now, while almost 47% of female executives were in disbelief about reaching the level of their success, they can't believe that this is where they are. And the reason it's a big problem is not just their inability to function where they are right now, it's about tomorrow. It's about the next phase, because success is not a destination. It is something you keep improving on, you keep getting to new levels. And so when imposter syndrome has crippled you on level 1, it prevents you from moving ahead to level 2.
Okay, Dr. Salami, we'll have to move a little quickly here because there's one question that's been bothering me, for a while. Now, considering your expertise, could you share strategic approaches? Because we want to know how this can be done. Could you share with us strategic approaches or initiatives that corporate organizations can implement to empower and facilitate the growth of women in the new year?
Fantastic question. One of the things organizations can do is to continue to provide platforms to train women. Platforms to train women, not just on technical skills now, but especially on confidence building. You see, for many women, and this is from the work I've done from research, for many women are not confident of themselves, confident of their skills, and so you find some women who think that confidence is arrogance. So they go all the way to the other side and they are arrogantly trying to impose their opinion, impose themselves. And then there are those who are passive, who don't necessarily meet up. But where women should be is in the middle, which is being confident. Confidence doesn't announce itself. Confidence just shows, right? And with overcompensation because of lack of confidence, you find women, that are being aggressive, that are being arrogant, but their intention is to be confident. But because of lack of training, and mentorship in that direction, you find the woman being aggressive, being arrogant, and then other people are wondering, why is this woman, just positioning herself like this, right? So what we want to have is to build skills for women who are assertive. So organizations need to invest in this. Confidence building, assertiveness for a woman, so that she is not passive, which is she's not necessarily engaging and speaking the way she should, but she's quiet. There are issues. She has an idea that she wants to share, but some voice in her head is telling her to keep quiet and nobody will listen to her, and then she's not also overcompensating on the other side, which is aggressively trying to make her point, but she has built confidence and assertiveness. So organizations need to invest in that, for the women working with them. And that's the way, their profitability can continue to grow.
So she should stop being defensive, in one word.
I'm feeling, not feeling intimidated in any way. All right. So 2024 is our vision. It's the purpose for which we're having this show, because we'd like to get that woman to be the best that she can be in the new year. And so what trends have you observed in corporate settings that could impact the professional development of women, and how can they leverage these trends, to their advantage in the new year?
Okay.
Very quickly.
Great question. Great. I love that. Great question.
In 1 minute.
Okay. So it's about commitment to personal development. The woman committing to learning and growing. One of my favorite quotes says that the illiterate of the 21st century won't be people that can neither read nor write, but people that cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And bringing that to this conversation for women, in 2024, women need to dedicate to acquiring new skills, which is, learning. Even the skills that you think you have before, you review it, which is relearning. And there are perhaps some things that has worked for you before that is not useful again, for the next level you are going into, you unlearn that. So for women, it's a commitment to personal development. If it is books, read the books and practice them. If it is events, don't just attend for networking, say attend to learn something. And when you learn it, practice it. So it's about committing to your personal development. And the more you develop, the more opportunities will come to you, and the more you'll be able to deliver excellence as the peak performing woman that you are on the opportunities you have.
I like that, peak performing woman.
Yes.
Last question from you?
Last question from
or
me.
A final word from the guest?
No. I'm thinking, wouldn't the men now feel intimidated if we're able to push women up the ladder so high, and then what happens to us?
Okay. That's a great question, because you remember one of my first comments is to understand that we are creating an inclusive society. And it should be inclusive, which is we're paying attention to everybody. But we're just saying that for this particular conversation, it's a focus on women. And I said that you don't have to be anti-man to be pro-woman. So organizations, yes, also engage men, empower them, help them to grow and to deliver excellence as we engage women as well. So it is not gender war. It's not about this or that. It is this and that. It is about every member of the team playing so that the team can win.
Exactly.
So that makes me feel safe.
Better. And all of us will win together. At the end of the day, we return back to the family.
Yes.
And all of the positive things and the benefits, come to the family.
Great.
Thank you so much. Please get your diary and note that the first show we're having, by the grace of God, in 2024, January, will be with you, because there's so many areas that we haven't touched, and our goal is to get that woman out there, to get all of the secrets and all of the tools and enablement, for her to scale up in 2024. Would you say yes to that, sir?
Of course, it's a yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So we have our first guest in 2024. Yeah, quite an expose. Thank you for coming. And we wish you the very best in the awesome work that you're doing with the women and the men for the sake of John.
Well, thanks for revealing those little secrets to us at this time. I also hope that the men have taken notes, like you've said, that this is, we're all in this together. We do really appreciate you, Dr. Abiola Salami. Thanks for taking time out to be with us today on Today with John and Helen Live.
All right. Another break beckons, a lot of insight from there, and I'm really happy. I'm really, really happy. I'd like to meet you one-on-one very soon. We'll take our next stopover is at Dolly Phillips' studio, or the gym. Yeah, the gym is our studio. And she is cooking something really, really nice for us out there. So let's get our, training kits together and join her in the gym. It's Today with John and Helen Live. And after that, Chizo Bam will be here with her guests. And they will be talking about culture and, what one young man is doing that is really awesome. The conversation segment on our culture and culture conversation with Chizoba will come after Dolly Phillips. Join us again.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another fitness section with us at Alpha Fitness Studios. My name is Dolly Phillips and this is Elvis Echo, and we're going to be taking you through a HIIT workout today. So today we're going to work for 20 seconds and rest for 10 seconds. I have my timer here with us. So before we start, let's start with a quick warm-up. Everybody hands up, deep breath in. shoulder rolls back, hands on the shoulders, rotate. 1. Opposite direction, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's reach over. 1. 3, 2, and 1. Now let's roll downwards. Release those hamstrings. 2, very good. Nice and slow. 3, good job. 4 and 5. Knees up. Let's go touch those knees. Wake those abs up. 1 and 2 and very good. 3 and 4 and 5. Hip circles. We're rotating. 5 to the left. Let's go. 5. Reverse direction. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out, shake it out. Are you ready for this workout, Elvis? We're ready. Okay, so I have my timer here. We're going to start the timer. The very first workout is your flutter kicks. So once you hear the whistle, we start. Once you hear the next whistle, you stop to rest. Are you ready? Let's go. If you can't kick this out like this, just kick out like this for me. Yes? We have levels. Come on, let's go. 2 and 1 and rest it. Okay, the next workout, high knees. So we're going to jog on the spot with our knees coming up high. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1, let's go. If you can't, this is enough for me. Just make sure you continue moving. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest it. That was good, huh? Next one, squat, leg over. Take those legs as high as possible. Are you ready? Let's go. And 1. Wow! Did you feel that one? Now we're going down to the floor. Hands down. Send your legs back. Let's go, Elvis. Mountain climbers. Let's go. Push it. If you can't do this, you can just stay in plank or stay in all fours and pick up your knees. And rest it. We're still on the floor. We're going to do a plank on the elbows. Okay, Elvis and I are going to turn to the side so you can see what we're doing. Elbows down and out. Don't collapse your back. No. Lift it up. Tuck in your pelvis and breathe. We have 10 seconds left. Woo! You can feel this one, huh? Make sure your elbows are directly under your shoulders and keep your face looking forward. Don't look down, look forward. Helps to straighten out your back. How are we doing? We have 3 seconds left. 2 and 1. Good job. Stretch it out. And now we're going to go into a sprint. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Sprint. Come on, go, 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 go. Faster. 2, 1, and relax. Impossible. Anyway, so let's stretch it out now. We've come to the end of this one. And out. Good job. In and out. In and out. One more and out. Shoulder rolls back. Shoulder rolls. Good. 3 more. 2 and 1. Rotate forward. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's stretch those quads. Hold on to something if you need to. If you don't need to, find your balance. Stretch those quads. Quads are these muscles here in the front of your thighs. Very good. You need to work these muscles. As we get older, they're the first set of muscles to give way. So always make sure you work your muscle, your quads. All right? Good job. And down. Let's stretch our back. Slide down those thighs.
all the way down. Fingertips on the floor, straight legs. Stretch out your lower lumbar region. Very good. Oh, this feels so good. It stretches the back of the legs as well, the hamstrings. Bend your knees and slowly roll up. Ah, yes. Deep breath in. Open those legs all the way down and up. All the way down one more time. And out. One more. And out. Awesome. Elbow, elbow, elbow. Thanks for joining us today. We hope to see you very soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them.
If you no talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 when they pay.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Thank you for joining us on Culture Conversations today. Now, there is no discussing the African culture without discussing our diverse and rich traditions, and also the age-long demonization of said indigenous traditions. As we move to reposition Africa at the top of the global map, it is imperative we begin to stock up on our knowledge of who we really are. And here to help us do that through his vast knowledge of the Yoruba culture and its core tradition, Ifa, is a young and popular historian. Tayo was born and raised in Ajegunle, Lagos, and later in Inisa, Osun State. He has a BSc in Dramatic Arts from Obafemi Awolowo University. Currently, he's undergoing postgraduate studies in Yoruba literature in University of Ibadan, and also shooting a documentary about Ibeji, twins, with Ademola Adeniran, the official photographer of the governor of Lagos State. He is the owner of Washiri, an 8-month-old culture promotion platform with over 200,000 followers that is committed to the retelling of African stories with emphasis on the Yoruba as a people, as a culture, and as a scientific belief system. And he's also the recipient of the Afrimact Cultural Advocates Awards. Today, Tayo, I am so excited to have you.
Thank you.
There is a widespread curiosity going on now. You know, non-Africans and even Africans are now very eager to know about our roots. Yeah. What would you say caused this, made this happen? What's the breaking point where everybody now is like, I want to know about Africa, I want to know about my roots, because that's what's going on.
Frankly, I think it's because our society has changed a lot, quite a lot from what we grew up with. When I started doing this, I wasn't expected to be so accepted or so quickly, sincerely. I thought I was just going to be connecting with those who can understand what I'm saying. I didn't expect a lot of people to find it sense-making. So I was quite very surprised too when I saw that, oh, people are loving these things. You know, I'm talking about things people should be running away from, things people usually run away from. And they are loving it, and they are enjoying it, and they're even asking for more. So I think the reason for that is because it's our time now. We're waking up, really. We're really waking up. And now these pieces of information are now widely available. The social media is now replete with a lot of African contents, you know, and people are beginning to ask questions. If you even look at our political space, you see that the youth have even risen, you know. There's consciousness going on around now. So I think that's just the reason for it.
The breaking point is, so we're tired of what the white man has said and what the white man has
We want to go for the truth for our own self, you know. We want to understand these things,
not what they said,
not just what, because it just takes patience to, I mean, realize that these things are not as dark. And that's even if they are dark at all. And the darkness, whatever darkness we can find in it is as a result of the darkness of man, not the actual knowledge you're talking about.
I always say every principle is neutral.
It's neutral.
It's the character of the person engaging in it
that makes it bad or good.
Yeah, nice. So I always say this, that, you know, a nation rises and falls on its identity. What would you say is the African identity? Like when you say I'm an African, what is the identity of an African?
It starts from you being able to speak your language.
That I can't speak my language.
It starts from, you know, because you should be, and if you don't know how to, maybe for reasons of your birth and all that, you should make conscious efforts to want to actually understand. That's where identity starts from. You can't identify yourself as a people of whom you know nothing. You understand? So you want to actually be able to speak your language. It starts from knowing the meaning of your own name. So many people bear names today that they don't know the meaning, and they think these names, I know the meaning is lost and because they are too ancient, and it's not like that. You understand? They are very available. So you should know why you are being named the way you're named. In Yoruba society, for instance, in the Yoruba traditional society, we have a unique way of giving names. A person has a biso, what you call a biso, the one I give to you upon giving you birth. And then there is the one you bring from heaven, a mutu, depending on how you were born. Are you born a twin, or did you come with your placenta around your neck? All these kind of things. You know, you have names that are given for children like that. And then we have Oriki. That one is your praise name. You know, we have to give you that. Although there are some Yorubas that don't do it, but majority of all Yoruba ethnic groups give Oriki. So that's just the name. The Oriki has a poem attached to it that can use to trace you to your roots. So even when a woman marries in those days, she doesn't change her name as we have it today. And this is not unique to the Yoruba. It's a general thing in Africa. Women don't adopt the names of their husbands upon marriage. They actually, because your name is supposed to be what we use to link you to your roots. So wherever you go, when I hear your name, okay, you are Temitayo, Ajadi Ogbo. Then from there, I know, okay, this is where you're from. This is your father, and that is the African sense of identity. So imagine, I mean, we've lost all that in just a woman now. I mean, assuming her husband's name upon marriage. So she can't mention her name anywhere, and they will trace that to her father. Because that link has been lost.
That's powerful. So Rikis have always been very fascinating for me.
Definitely.
And I found that it was like a whole poem. And I know when people are, when they're giving you, when they're reciting it, and then it makes your head swell like this.
Exactly.
I mean, Africa is
Oriki is so beautiful that it's not just, everything has Oriki in Yoruba land. Yeah, everything has Oriki. Towns have Orikis. Human beings have, animals have Oriki. Understand? Oriki is,
like
you know.
Jago Jago, where I know the
name that this tree bears. It can't harm me because I know its name. You know, things like that.
Beautiful to go African. Okay, so let me poke the bear a bit. The Oni of Ife recently in a conversation stated that all women are witches. I personally agree because I understand what he's saying. So I understand. The audience might not understand. And you being a Yoruba historian and everything, please, can you break it down for us?
The problem with those who misunderstand it is with the kind of, the way we have now made the word Aje so diabolic. You know, we've darkened the meaning of that word in our minds. And so it's a common saying in Yoruba land. When we say Gbogbo Birin Laje, all women are witches. And Aje as a word is, we use witch, the word witch for it, simply because we don't have, there's nothing the European people have that can be, that have so much similarities with what we have as in Aje. Aje and witches are not the same things actually. Because the word Aje doesn't mean witch. It's Je the word je in Yoruba language means to allow something to happen. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọlé, allow me go home, let me go home. Orúkọ wo ló ń jẹ́? What name do you answer to? So that is the meaning of that je. So Aje is he who has the power to let something be.
Of command.
The one who has the powers that be, you know, the one who
and And
could.
it's naturally women.
And that is what women do, starting from the birth of everybody in this world. So they actually have the power to make things happen. That is an Aje. That is the meaning of that word. It means just to be powerful. The powerful women. And that's why they are called Iya. Understand? Àwọn ìyá mi, Oshoronga, things like that. So, do we have wicked Aje people? Do we have bad people? Yes. And do we have good ones? Yes. So the problem is not with the Aje. Like you said earlier, these things are neutral. So it depends on how good you are or how bad you are. Understand? If you're good, you're going to use it for good. And if you're bad, Aje simply means to be powerful. And when we say all women are witches, that's the sense in which he's using the,
I
word.
think that, you know, with the feminism movement and we women coming to recover our power and understand who we are, I think that's something very powerful to knowledge to have as women, that we are powerful, not just biologically to give birth, but also spiritually we're very powerful.
Definitely.
I think women are born with arcane and metaphysical powers.
Even in the traditional, early, in the pre-colonial Yoruba society, the women were in charge of the economy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in the palace.
Are you hearing, German?
in the palace now, for instance, you know, no meeting, no decision can be made without the accent of the Yaloja.
Sorry to
or
cut you. I even
Iyalode.
hear that in crowning a king like the Oni, there's a stage where
In fact,
women
the bird on the crown signifies the mothers.
Kaba.
You know, the kings make expressions like, without the mothers, I cannot rule. You understand? Everything, you know, takes you back to the roots, because they are the roots.
And women are honored at the root in our
They
African
are
culture.
always, you understand what I'm saying now? So,
Powerful.
Iyalode, Iyaloja, these were the finance ministers.
Wow.
You know, they control the economy. Wow. They attended all the meetings that happened in the
Before you
palace.
blow my brain, and I will forget the next question. So traditionalists often hammer on the fact that, and you've also said that in previous conversations we've had, that Ifa, or the African culture generally, goes beyond religion.
Definitely.
It has philosophy, literature, math, it
Poetry,
has mathematics,
music,
permutations, poetry,
mathematics.
music. So, like, break it down for us. Like, you know, what does
It is Ifa, what we call Ifa. It's a corpus. It's a compendium of a body of knowledge. What a people know. And what a people know is not all religion. Religion is just one of the things people engage in.
Yeah.
There are so many other things that we do, so many other things that we know about. If I include knowledge of medicine, for instance, because we have our Onishegun, who are a branch of the diviners. Not really, we have a Babalawo, who is like, you know, the professor, the all in all. He understands everything. And then all the Onishegun, Ilewi Omo, all these people, you know, the Ilewi Omos, for instance, are the ones who deal with children and pregnant mothers, the pediatricians, you know. And they always have to consult Ifa to seek knowledge. So do you call that religion? A lot of the things we do, how is Ogun appeased, for instance? You know, you use palm oil on iron. Scientifically, how do you lubricate, how do you preserve iron? You have to lubricate it with oil.
Yeah.
So these people understood some scientific principles, and that is so it is a disservice to just dismiss everything as religion.
Okay.
You understand?
So there's a lot of disdain with, you know, the culture. People mock it, people spit at it, and then there's a group of people who also are excited about it and everything. How people who are excited and then bastardize it, you know. So what's your advice to people who look at it, who look down on it, and people who are taking it and using it for?
All right. First of all, I'll tell people to not even be religious tolerant. You know, have mutual respect for religion, because what you tolerate is something not good enough. You know, something, you know, it's not good enough, so you're just tolerating it now. So even that is derogatory, even that is demeaning. So don't tolerate anybody. You have to have mutual respect for the religion. And when we start from there, we notice that our problems have reduced. And those who are using it for, who have access to some knowledge, and then they're using it for bad reasons and those kind of things, you should just stop doing it. You don't have control over that. People will always, you know, abuse. You know, there's going to be exactly so.
So your Washiri platform now, final question. Your Washiri platform, as you said, you were shocked when you saw a melting point of people from different religions being interested. Do you ever see a point where all religions will come together and have a common ground?
If we have so many people doing what I'm doing now, and I pray that we get to that level, you know, it's my joy to see a lot of people doing this kind of thing. If that happens, then definitely we are going to arrive.
And I can't wait, because I think that's when we'll now reach that point where Africa wants to be on the global map. Thank you so much, Tayo.
Yeah, you're welcome.
As in, there's so much to say, but thank you so much for your wealth of knowledge. Thank you for what you're doing. I'm super excited. So after this break, we will be joining John and Helen to wrap up the show. Stay tuned.
for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Okay,
Thanks
John.
for staying with us. Yeah, thanks for staying with us. And this is Today with John and Helen. And I must say that the women again have tipped the scales.
You get.
We had a wonderful session with Bam Bam, Chizobam, and I see that conversation favored favored women more than men. And well, anyway, we don't mind. They've said that it's an all-inclusive world. So let's include you in our next segment, which is my nugget. The nugget for those of us who speak publicly, and indeed, that is all of us. Yeah. My nugget today is this. If in doubt, visualize, reorganize, then nail it. So the point is this. So many times we go on stage. So many times we have great days, but there are times when you're in doubt. You get up there and nothing seems to work. All right? So those are moments when you are in doubt. You start to question, what am I doing here? All right? So all you need to do is to recalibrate, okay? Visualize again. Like, remember the power of positive thinking. Recalibrate, revisualize while you're there. You know, empower your mind, your mindset. Reorganize your thoughts, okay? And then nail it. So that's my charge to you today. If in doubt, visualize, reorganize, and then nail it. Wow. So we hope we've nailed it today.
Yeah, I think we have. And you know why you're going on at that? Yes. The normal thing we say in the theater, that life is a stage.
Yeah.
You know, was being ministered to me. So, so you're not talking to us about public speaking alone.
No.
You're talking to us about life. You know, earlier on I was saying to Chizobam that sometimes when I think about the places where I have fallen, I don't see them like I'm regretting, because I now know that I can never fall at those particular places anymore. So is that thing, realizing what you've done, what you need to do, getting yourself back on your feet, and believing that, you know, you can nail it.
You just justified the reason why I'm a speech skills coach and not a public speaking coach.
So you just said that, and I have magnified it.
You magnified it, yes.
It got bigger in my brain, you know, interpretation-wise. Chizobam.
I mean, I just like the nail it part. Just do it.
Just do it.
Because, you know, nobody wants to live with regrets. Just
do it better than you did it yesterday.
So, that is it for this week. I want to thank you all for being with us. We hope we'll see you again next week on Plus TV Africa.
We believe that we've got you fired up. 2024 must be our year. Yes. Whichever way.
Our
year, all of us. Okay. See you again next Saturday, but before then, later this night at 10:30, there's a repeat show, and 9:30 tomorrow morning. Please watch if you missed this first outing. We love you all. Bye now.
I'm out.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
After a bruising fight over its leadership, a new Congress takes over Capitol Hill. How will divided government impact America's direction? From immigration to defending Ukraine, now the inside story, new Congress, new challenges.
Hi, I'm Katherine Gibson, VOA's congressional correspondent here on Capitol Hill, where the new 118th Congress is trying to make its mark. Democrats managed to hold on to control of the U.S. Senate in November's elections, while Republicans took control of the House of Representatives, giving President Joe Biden a divided Congress to work with for the next 2 years. And the lengthy battle among House Republicans to choose their leader suggests any agreements with the White House will be few and far between.
So help you God.
Republican leader Kevin McCarthy emerged from a rare 4-day battle to become Speaker of the House.
The House will be in order.
Touting Republicans' accomplishments in their first full week of work.
Government should be here to help you, not to go after you. Be able to protect the unborn. We just protected the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, where the president can no longer deplete it and sell our oil to China. And we opened the House back up for the public.
But analysts say the conservative caucus that objected to McCarthy as Speaker will continue to be a problem.
He is in a weakened position, but his biggest problem is that his margin is so small. So he has only, a 5-seat margin.
Many Republicans object to resetting the nation's debt ceiling, a stance that could have global consequences if America's credit rating suffers as a result.
The American people elected Republicans to get our fiscal house in order, and get our fiscal house in order we will.
With inflation still high in the United States, Democrats have warned against government spending cuts.
These spending cuts harm families, communities throughout the U.S. that are already struggling with inflation and the cost of living.
Republicans have also launched multiple investigative committees.
Today, we will counter the Chinese Communist Party with our Select Committee on China. We will vote to protect every American's constitutional rights with the new Select Subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government.
And President Joe Biden and his family are expected to be a subject of Republican investigations, including concerning their financial transactions, despite Democrats' objections.
But instead of trying to find ways to work together, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle continue to lean into an extreme MAGA Republican agenda, which seems to be focused on trying to investigate the president's family, not make a difference in the lives of everyday Americans.
The Biden administration's immigration policy will also come under scrutiny.
If you look at the operational goals, securing the border, securing our cyber border,
as well as billions of dollars in U.S. aid to Ukraine.
The House Republicans are split also, but Speaker McCarthy has indicated he might side with the elements who want to push back on funding.
But any legislation passed in the House will have to be agreed to in the Democratic majority U.S. Senate. One flashpoint that may emerge soon is the cost of supporting Ukraine in its defense against Russia's attacks. The U.S. has spent tens of billions of dollars in military, economic, and humanitarian assistance for Ukraine since Russia invaded in February 2022. But several Republicans in Congress are questioning the amount of money being spent. VOA politics and policy reporter Veronica Balderas Iglesias explains.
As Ukraine mourns the victims of the Russian missile strike in the city of Dnipro, U.S. President Joe Biden and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte decried Moscow's aggressions during a bilateral meeting in Washington.
Russia is just continuing to act in ways that are almost unbelievable. So the brutality was just there.
Rutte announced more support for Kyiv.
Good day and welcome to your favorite Afro program on TV plus Social. Today is Saturday and I'm sure a lot of our viewers are home watching. Some are in the office watching us with their devices. I'm Mudassir Shitu and today will be an interesting moment on the show. We'll be dedicating a very good part of the show on boxing, where we will be speaking with a very important personality in Nigerian sport, talking about Azania Omagege, who is the president of African Boxing Confederation. It's good to have you on the show, sir.
Good morning.
We have to apologize to our guests for coming a little bit behind schedule. But let's go straight to our discussion today, President of the African Boxing Confederation. We all know from reported tabloid and everywhere that there's crisis that's rocking Nigerian Boxing Federation. You have been promoting boxing for a very long time beyond Nigeria and Africa. Your names are everywhere when it comes to the promotion of boxing, both administrative and in ensuring that Nigerian amateur boxers get the best in the world of boxing. But beyond that, we know presently that there's crisis that rocks Nigerian Boxing Federation. As a very diligent man, please, can you tell us what's happening in Nigerian Boxing Federation that belongs to Nigerians?
Yeah, good morning and thank you for having me on your show. Just a point of correction, I'm the Vice President of African Boxing,
okay,
and the interim president of the Nigerian Boxing.
Okay. Yes, thank you for that correction. He is the Vice President of African Boxing Confederation and also the interim president of Nigerian Boxing Federation. Thank you very much. So let me go straight to my first question, which is the crisis that rocks Nigerian Boxing Federation. Tell us what's going on in our beloved sports.
Thank you very much. Nigerian Boxing Federation has been intact, like we said. We've been promoting boxing for a while now. Actually, it's been picking up, having good boxers going to represent Nigeria with different competitions. And I'm happy to say that we've already qualified 3 boxers for the Paris Olympics coming up too. You see, so everything happening right now is just political. I had an election to contest for the presidency of the African Boxing Confederation when I was serving as an interim president. But some few persons on the board didn't really like what was going on, out of envy, jealousy, and they tried to stop me in any which way. Unfortunate that the country where you come from, instead of supporting for your goals, they want to fight you into it. So the few persons on the board, name them to you. One's name is Femi.
Okay.
The other one's name is Atura.
Okay.
They went and connived with some of my enemies in Africa from the country in Congo. There's a guy there called General Luyoyo. There's another guy called David Tina from Angola.
Okay.
And our secretary of the ARBC, trying to see how they could stop me from contesting for the presidency. Because the guy from Congo was also running, but he wasn't allowed to contest because of criminal activities and bans that he has from Europe and sanctions from America. And so they connived with Mr. Femi. I have details of all the conversations and letters exchange and everything. How to stop me from contesting for the presidency. So they keep on making calls, three-way calls to themselves. And Luyoyo himself now sent this letter. I don't know if you read it, but I'll send it to you.
Okay.
To send it to Femi, you can see there.
Definitely.
Draft.
Yes.
Yeah, to give it to the president of Nigeria, who is General Minima, to sign that Nigeria is leaving IBA. The crux of the matter is this. The IBA, which is the International Boxing Association, controls amateur boxing in Nigeria. It's been there for over 40 years, and that's where we all belong.
Yes.
All the boxing champions that we know of, our head of state, all the likes of Okoro, Jeremiah, all the 20 washes, everybody, all your 6 medalists from all your silver medalists from Olympics are all under IBA. So recently, we had an election in Turkey where we had a new president who emerged. His name is Omar Kremlin.
Okay.
Kremlin is currently the president of the IBA, and he happens to be a Russian. So, because of the politics of the Russia and Ukraine issue, they're just trying to fight. The IOC president, Thomas Bach, doesn't like my president, and the president also sticks it back to him. So that's all about egos. Not that the IOC has any problem with IBA, it's just Thomas Bach and the president that have issues. And actually, they're trying to resolve the issue too, right? IBA, and also to tell you, the vice president of IBA is actually from Ukraine. So you have a Ukrainian vice president, Russian president, and they're doing very well. That mix sports and politics, both on his own. And also letting you know that my president for Russia gave $50,000 to all Ukrainian boxers, you know, just to at least to make sure everything was okay. So sports has nothing to do with politics. There was a bunch that left the IBA, headed by one Boris, and now trying to see how they could get Olympic recognition. What they are trying to preach is that, that the ones with the IOC, we're going to be the ones who do the Olympics and everything, but that's not true. IBA still has 200 and something countries with them that are still there fighting to retain, we're just waiting for IOC and everybody to have their settlement. Also tell you that every competition you see the IOC do, like the Olympics, the Commonwealth Games, all African Games, all the referees that have been used there are all from the IBA. The WBO, but I don't know the World Boxing, they don't have a single referee. They don't have any single coach of boxers fighting with them. Of all the 54 countries we have here, how can only Nigeria on its own, just leave and go to join a rogue body? Nobody has heard of.
Okay, before yeah, well said. I'm sure a lot of our viewers are. Let's look at the crisis between you and the former Chief of Army Staff, about his tenure. That's the picture of the Chief of Army Staff on the screen, who is Kenneth Minima. His tenure, according to reports, you have that his tenure is over. And some are saying that it's not over. There are reports I'm getting, but that's why we are on this program to tell us today that about the tenure, which is the major crisis that is rocking the Nigerian Boxing Federation. Tell us about whether Kenneth Minima, whether his tenure is over or is not over, because in that letter that we have, we know that written there from IBA is that the tenure of Kenneth Minima is over. Tell us about this.
Okay, fine. Well, there are two crises working the federation, so not just only tenure. Just give me 1 minute to finish about the other one, because this is when Kenneth Minima actually started the problem. Now, the World Boxing I was telling you, Nigeria, headed by Kenneth Minima at that time, chose to join the World Boxing Federation, the new world body. Now, for you to take a country out, join another organization.
Yes.
Yeah, the process is General Minima on his own, I repeat, on his own, wrote a letter to that world body that Nigeria is going to be joining them. He did not call for a board meeting to discuss this issue. I was never informed. Actually, I was in Russia when I saw a mail or some information that Nigeria is now in World Boxing. I was shocked. Nobody told me anything. And now, I'm back to World Boxing. I said, please stop spreading any rumor about Nigeria or anything. And they were very confident that Nigeria was with them at that time. So I now wrote a letter to the secretary. I said, what's this? Why won't you let us know that Nigeria has been to World Boxing? He said, well, the president took the decision himself. I said, but that's not right. He must call for a board meeting. He must call for a congress. He must let the sports ministry know. The sports ministry take Nigeria out, not you, General Minima. So that's where the problem now started. And secondly, please, with all due respect to my boss, he came on the board in 2010, November. And we have our constitution right here, which says explicitly that you can only be in office for 12 years in an executive power. Even himself, General Minima, knows very well about this. When he came in 2010, he came for a one term at that time, which was 4 years. And he was a board member then. After doing 2 years of that 4-year term, not as a president, he was just a board member. They now impeached the president at that time, Paul George Taylor. And with impeachment, the vice president at that time was supposed to take over. But that didn't happen. They now pleaded with the vice president, then the other board members now voted for Minima unanimously to become the president. Minima now entered as a president capacity for 2 good years, not interim president. He entered as a full term, 2 years as a president. But he served that out. He came back again, it was John Goodluck Jonathan. He now came back again and did one 4-year tenure, which he served fully as the president. That makes it. He came back again for another 4-year tenure, which he served his full term, 4 years, making it 10 years. Now, this tenure that we are is for 4 years. We've already done 2 years extra. So the 2 years that he has done makes it 12. As an extra now on 13. The Constitution says that he cannot do 12 years, anything more than 12 years maximum. So he has exceeded his 12 years and he has to leave. Nobody on the board wants to talk about it. And I can't keep quiet about this, but this is a constitutional issue. Even before the retirement, I spoke with a few board members. They all know, so let them not pretend. They all know about this. And I spoke with them. I said, listen, the only way to keep President Nima right now is to amend the Constitution before his tenure finishes. So they amend it, then it will save him from not going after the 12 years. But they didn't do that. So right now the 12 years is over, and he still did not want to leave. So I now wrote a letter to IPA, and they now wrote to him, President Nima, so please respond. He did not respond, and he was suspended. Okay. A suspension letter here from the Integrity Group, Integrity Unit of the IPA.
Okay, well said, because there are some more questions from the other side about a November 11 letter given to you about your suspension. But before then, let's go on this quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking about this one. So let's take this quick break. We'll be coming back to talk about the November 11 letter given to you.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the Babin, I pay my rent. From the Babin, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
Interesting moment. So many reports we are getting from this portal about these issues going on. Some have dropped their messages as regards to that. So it's good to have you back on the show.
Thank you. I'm here waiting.
Okay, fine. Tell us about the November 11, because so much report about this issue on social media. Even before on this quick break, we had people talking to us about the same crisis, about your opinions and what is at stake. Now, tell us about the suspension given to you on November 11.
Thank you very much. I showed you the suspension of the Ramini, right? And I'm happy you're mentioning the date that the suspension, the so-called suspension, was given to me. Now look at this. Can you read it?
Yes.
Yes. Are you seeing the date?
Yes, I can see. Yeah, I can see. I can see. I have that document.
Date, not you can see.
I can see clearly.
What date are you seeing? Are you not seeing November 10th?
Yes, I can see November 10th. Yeah, I can see.
Very good. And I'm happy you acknowledge that date, November 10th.
Yes.
How can a person who suspended November 10th suspend me on November 11th? Where is that done?
No. There's something amiss. But what was the reason given for the suspension?
Wait. He was suspended on November 10th as the president, okay, and it stopped him from every boxing activity. Many man had no rights in the eye of the law to conduct any board meeting.
Because of this tenure issue.
So anything that came up November 11th is null and void. I actually attended the meeting.
Okay.
Hoping that he was coming to tell us he was resigning. When I attended the meeting, it's unrecorded here. As I logged into the meeting, the next thing I saw was a General Ola, who is a board member trying to chair the meeting. And I said, General Ola, with all due respect, if the president is not here, I, Azania Omo Agege, is the vice president, I have to chair the meeting, not you.
Definitely. According to the Constitution.
It's there. Then he said, my president just, I said, no, it's not like that. The president told me to chair. I said, he can't tell you. The minister has no power to tell you to chair a meeting when the vice president is seated.
So before that, what has been the relationship between you and your president? Because you've spoken so well of him, but where did he get wrong? Why didn't he let you take over the proceeding according to the Constitution?
My brother, that's a question you have to put to him. I love my president, Minima. A very loyal boy to him. I contributed over 90% for him to be elected as the president of the Nigerian Boxing Federation. He knows that, and every sports person in the ministry knows that. I, Azania Omo Agege, contributed over 90% for his re-election. At that position, I turned it down. I didn't want it. Amliman's name came the last minute, a day to the election, because his name was already moved out from contesting. I went and fought for his name to be brought back. He knows that he can't deny it. All the board members know that he cannot deny it. Why he's fighting me, I don't know. Where this is coming from, I don't know. So that's a question you have to put to him. Have his number, call him. Not any proxy, don't talk to any board member. Call General Minima. Tell him to come on your show and let him tell you, where have I gone wrong? And I will apologize if I wronged him. I have not in any way wronged him. I've sent him messages over 2 years, he has not responded. I sent him emails. I have everything here I can forward to you. Don't do it.
Yeah, what the role of the sport ministry is a supervisory role. What way has the sport ministry intervened in this crisis to ensure that there's a smooth transition after the tenure of Minima?
Well, I intend writing some letters out to the sports ministry next week since this from IBA.
Okay.
They are affiliated to IBA. Nigerian Boxing Federation is affiliated to the AFBC, African Boxing Confederation, and International Boxing Association. We conducted our elections under the constitution of the IBA.
Okay.
The then minister, who is just left now, Sunday Barry, he even said during the election that was conducted in 2021 that there are 6 federations that have their constitutions that have already been adopted by all their national bodies.
Yes.
And that those federations should go ahead and carry out their elections according to constitutions of the international bodies. And the boxing was one of them.
Yes.
It was actually mentioned amongst the people. That's what we did for election. Minimum, all of us on the board were all under the IDA. Then the other federations conducted elections with the sports governance code of governance. And that's the truth and nothing but the truth.
Okay, let's go to the second question because I've been hearing so much on this. Now you show that. Let's go to the second question. You showed that your suspension by the NBF was not expected. It shouldn't be because of the date interference. But some now say that that is re-instigated the suspension of Minima by IBA because, quote and unquote, NBF sent you a letter of suspension. How true is that?
Oh, they sent me a letter of suspension and I responded to them.
Yeah, how true is the fact that you are behind the suspension of Minima by the IBA? And also for the very fact that Nigeria moved away from IBA to another ruling body, which was sanctioned, which is sanctioned accepted by IOC. How true is the fact that you are part of that letter that you made IBA, International Boxing Association, expel Minima for its tenure elongation, and also for the fact that it took Nigeria from IBA to another ruling body, which is not accepted by IBA?
Very true. Of course, I wrote a letter to the international body who governs us, and I told them about his expiration. And when they received my letter, they wrote to General Minima to ask him if this is true or not. And he refused to respond. He refused to reply to them. What left his suspension? Was I wrong? Should I keep quiet about it and let him continue his tenure? It's expired. We have a constitution, my dear brother. I wrote a letter. Yes, I did. And I also wrote a letter regarding the I do anything wrong there? No. So you're now suspending me for writing a letter. Don't forget I'm the African vice president, besides being a Nigerian president.
So
I have to play my role.
Yeah. What's the role? What is the way forward in this crisis? What's the way forward? Because I know when crises like this happen, the athletes suffer. So what's the way forward? Has Minima said anything since his letter given to him that he has been expelled by the International Boxing Association for taking Nigeria to another body and also for still being an illegitimate president of a Nigerian Boxing Federation? What's the way forward, and has Minima reacted to that letter?
First of all, let me just conclude this one. This is the letter they wrote to me from the body the secretary that I was suspended.
Okay.
You are now. I have to send you a copy so you look at the charges and you're able to just back up.
Okay.
How can you? First of all, no fair hearing. When I just came to the board meeting, During the board meeting was when on the agenda of the meeting. First of all, he told us we're going to be discussing just the AFDC issue. That was the agenda. The next day, during the agenda, during the meeting, I brought the agenda. I said, wow, okay. Now, you're suspending me before you're even asking me to explain.
Okay.
After suspension, they now said, okay, you can't explain all this. This is really funny. Anyway, I've responded to all of them.
Okay.
Then now, regarding General Minima's comments about his suspension, I don't know. I have not heard from him. I have not seen General Minima in about over 2 years now. So I don't, all I'm hearing is from proxies from General Ola, the Secretary Femi, that they're rejecting the suspension from the IBA, that IBA has no right to suspend him. I say, well, that will be left to be seen, because I know IBA has every right. The first time they suspended the president, I have letters on my table from the AFDC. Countries have been suspended, members have been suspended. I prove you that's exactly what the IBA does. Don't know what General Minima is talking about. I've not heard from him. Be good if you call him yourself, please. Call him. Hear from him directly, like I'm here talking to you. I didn't send any proxy to you to explain. Call General Minima to come on TV and explain himself, please. Don't talk to any other person. Him directly.
We also have some affiliation with Nigeria. We have some affiliations part of Nigerian Boxing Federation. We have the judges and the referees. Some are saying that the decision to go away from IBA is so that the athletes can be part of the Olympics, since the International Olympic Committee has issues with International Boxing Association. Some said no, that the IBA, the Nigerian Boxing Federation, does not have any right to take Nigerian Boxing Federation to Minima does not have any right to take Nigerian Boxing Federation to another association which is not acceptable by IBA, since IBA has always been the ruling body. What is really is the stance of the proper stance in this situation?
Thank you. Now you're asking a very, very good question. First of all, the IOC, which conducts the Olympics and the rest, they suspended, which is my body, from partaking in any Olympics event right now, because they have, and I'm very well aware that they're settling the issues. Even in France, the referees that will be used there are still the IBA referees. Now, this World Boxing Body that General Minima Nigeria to right now,
okay,
tell the question. Are they recognized by the IOC?
No.
The IOC does not recognize them. I will send you a video to Thomas back in his own words, saying at this time, nobody is responsible for boxing. So why take them to this body when they are not recognized by the IOC? What is the rush? Why can't you wait and consult more? The referees, when you're not just taking Nigeria, but the referees.
Yes.
You're taking the coaches.
Yes.
Taking the boxers.
And the athletes.
Now, the athletes, referees and coaches. What to do. Now, these coaches, they've been with IBA for years. And with IBA, they have rankings. They have a 1-star badge, 2-star badge, 3-star badge. So as the referees, 1-star, 3-star. With the 2-star and 3-star, they go in international competitions, which they do. Back in Cameroon, as one of our referees was there. Why do they follow you to a body that they don't even know about, when they cannot register to referee there? And if they go there, they're going to lose all the badges they work for this years to get from IBA, because IBA will seize their badges. So that's what I'm telling you. You should have consulted rightly. You don't just go on your own to take a country out. You call a Congress. The Congress, the referees will be there. The coaches will be there. You talk and see how you people agree. If they say yes, you go. Even me, I will follow them if they say yes. If they say no, we stay with IBA. It's just being consulted.
So there was no proper consultation amongst all stakeholders?
Not at all.
So if you are properly conducted, you also wouldn't have hesitated to be part of the other body, which we've not known now. The other body, assuming you're properly consulted, will you have joined, allowed or accepted the fact that they need to go to the other parallel body?
No, because of what I know now, like I told you, I repeat to you, don't forget I'm the vice president of African Boxing, and I was one time the interim. So with the interim, I get enough information about what is going on, which Nigerian Boxing Federation does not know. I'm always with my boss in Russia discussing issues, so I have first-hand information of the on-the-ground dealings of what's happening. And I know that body has not been recognized by the IOC. If the IOC comes out tomorrow, say, yes, this is our body, then it's a different situation. But they haven't said that.
So what you just said, there's no confirmation from the IOC that that body is accepted by them.
Not at all. Nowhere. Call anywhere. Tell General Minma to show you or let him know. Tell him to show you.
Now, when I introduced you, I was careful, but to use the word interim president of the Nigerian Boxing Federation, because I know the crisis is going on.
Yes.
Do you think that's the proper way it should be addressed right now? Though I know from what you said and from the letters that Minimal's tenure is no longer as we speak, according to the tenure, is no longer the president of the Nigerian Boxing Federation. But do you think it's the proper thing to also call you, since it has not been accepted that you are the interim president of the Nigerian Boxing Federation? Can you enlighten me on that?
That is the proper way to address it, because that's what the Constitution says. In the eyes of the law, right now as I speak to you, I'm the interim president. Our Constitution says that once the president is out for any reason, the vice president steps in. There can't be any vacuum. It's written there, back and wait. Let him take me to court.
So what's the consequences? What's the consequences of all this? The NBF, the issue with your suspension by the NBF, the expulsion of Minimal by IBA. Some will call it power tussle, but the fact is that where is this leading us? What is the consequences? The athletes will probably be suffering from this, but where is this leading us? And where do you think the next year we'll still be talking about all this? From your own expert point of view and an administrator for a very long time, where do you think this is leading us to?
First of all, I want to remind you that the athletes are suffering because they're not being exempted from any competitions at all. Even next year, the IBA has about 6 competitions they can attend. In January, we have the Mandela Cup, which they can attend. And all this is going to be paid for by the IBA from the IBA. So they're not suffering in any which way. You just have to come together, at least see eye to eye and talk. Because I'm really saddened. I won't lie to you. I'm not happy. Boxing has always been together. I don't know where this is coming from, and it's very sad. It's really, really sad.
You talk so well, and you talk like you want a mediator to come in to make sure that you talk like you want peace. You want there should be a stop to this issue going on. What do you think is the step you also you need to take? Because you talk like you don't mind there should be a resolution. You talk you don't mind you so much respect for Minimal, with so much respect for Nigerian board, and also respect for IBA. What step do you think you, as a person, an administrator, need to take to ensure this crisis should be resolved?
Well, like you know, in Nigeria, we have elders, who could come in the sports industry. I think there's some moves right now going on for some little chit-chat, We just have to make everybody understand that this country is being governed by laws, okay? And we have to follow the rules. The Constitution is our Bible. Just obey the Constitution, that's all. They will make him maybe see reasons why he should obey the Constitution, and then we move on. He can always be there as a leader in boxing. General Minma has done a lot for boxing. Done a lot. I give him kudos, credit. That's why I supported him to come back as a president. But the law is the law. You understand? If your tenure is up, President Goodluck was there, he left. Buhari was there, he's gone. He's now a good, honorable president, who's there right now. Minma has been there since Goodluck Jonathan, since Muhammad Buhari, and also now representing the group. Come on, it's time, Jonah.
Okay, I thought the constitution of the sport ministry is 2 tenures, 4-year apiece.
No, that's it. We don't go by the sports ministry governance.
Okay.
Constitution.
Okay, what does your constitution say?
3 term for 4 years.
So, General Minima have been there 8 years of Buhari.
I told you he did 2 years before. Our constitution say 3 terms with or without a break. So you see that 2 years he did, which was it? It's there. Let him go to court.
So I want also our listeners, a lot of people are really talking so much about this right now, and comments and people saying all this on social media. But let's look at this. Now let's take our mind away from our own crisis, which is my second question, my third question, the rift between IBA and IOC. Is international politics and what's going on, and we as a member of IBA, and also you as the vice president of African Boxing Confederation, what's the issue going on between IOC and IBA?
You really want to know?
I'm sure because even if you don't have a crisis, there's definitely crisis going on internationally with boxing.
Yeah, this is all about power play, to be honest with you. Okay? The IOC wants to muscle the IBA, okay, to succumb to everything they want them to do. The IBA, my current boss is a multi-billionaire who doesn't care about what they want to do because he has his own money. He's been sponsoring boxing for years. The whole world, he sponsors boxing. Just because he's a Russian, they don't like him. But we did an election which he contested and he won. Are you going to drive this man because he's a Russian? You can't do that. To the best of my knowledge, I'm Nigerian. I don't think they're proper Russian now. So why are we taking sides?
So you think it's a personal issue between the president and
very personal.
And how soon will there be a resolution? Because we'll be having the Olympics next year. What's the fate of the boxers in the coming Olympics?
Yeah, nothing. Everything is going on smoothly. Our boxers are allowed to fight 3 boxers for the Olympics. They are attending. Going to be there fully supported by IBA in any which way.
So even with the crisis,
even the referees are going to use for the Olympics are IBA referees because the IOC doesn't have their own referees.
So even
we allow them to participate, and there are a lot of underground talks going on for resolution. You postpone, you settle now. That's how it is.
So even with the crisis, everything still goes on normal in terms of participation at the Olympics.
Oh yes, no problem at all. It's in any IOC tournament. Just like the qualifiers in Senegal. Nigeria was there. It's an Olympic event. That's what we qualified. And the referees that were used, they were all IBA referees.
Okay, and I also have the authority that the IOC is asking the IBA for a reform in some certain areas. How true is that IBA, International Boxing Association, needs a reform which the International Olympic Committee is asking IBA to do, which I think is the bottom line of the bone of contention between the two international governing bodies?
You're very correct. Now, they've been asking about transparency. You see, the IBA, like I told you, my boss is Russian. And we do seek for sponsorship for certain things we do. Now, at one time, the IBA was being sponsored by Gazprom. Okay. Gazprom is the oil company, like your oil company in Nigeria here, NMPT. And they sponsor the IBA. Okay. So the IOC thought that money coming from the Russian company wasn't good enough because of the war that is taking place against all these Russians. Gazprom has stopped sponsoring us, and we have other sponsors too. IOC wants us to be declaring everything. We're not that business now. You understand? If you give me 10,000, how can IOC give me 10,000 for what? How does IOC get their money through? They're talking about transparency. They're talking about refereeing. That there was one time in Rio in Olympics, Brazil, I think they talked about the referee wasn't at par, They didn't like what was going on. We're talking about integrity. Brother, I'm inside. I know what's happening. These guys are talking amongst themselves. Okay, it's just power play.
Okay.
Nothing more than that. And I can assure you, once everything will be settled out shortly. That's why you see they're not supporting any other world boxing body right now for now. You know, they're just there. It's a marriage that they will do divorce, they will settle.
Okay. Yes, a wonderful moment, and thank you for the exclusive information, the letter you've shown to Nigerians about all that's happened. Your
I
love
have
for
everything here to show to you. I have all documents.
yeah. I want to say a big thank you for your time. We thank you so much, and the conversation will continue on all our social media platforms about what's going on, and we hope that the resolution on this crisis will be solved soonest.
Yes, please. I hope that too. And please talk to General Minima. Ask him, has anything wrong with you?
We'll be hoping to bring General Minima on the show. So you also say start.
Not proxy, please. Not proxy. And if I'm wrong in any way, I will apologize to him.
Okay.
He just has to tell me what I have done.
Okay.
Because so far, I haven't seen anything I've done. But if he tells me as an older brother, I said, this is what you did to me. He's my boss. He remains my boss till tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, sir. We appreciate so much of your time you've given us today.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much. We've been speaking with the Vice President of African Boxing Confederation, talking about Omoagege Aranze, who is doing so well for boxing. Away from boxing, we won't take our mind back to this year, as the year runs up, to Delta State, where we had the 2023 opening ceremony of the National Youth Games in Delta, which Delta won. So some of you did not witness that. So we'll take you the sights and sounds of the opening ceremony of the 2023 and the 7th edition of the National Youth Games that was held in Asaba. My father, 3 months. Go round up. Ridiculous. I cannot talk. They round up. 11:48. 2 minutes.
Southwest Nigeria.
event at the 2023 National Youth Games in Asaba, the 7th edition of the wonderful and annual Youth Games. That's all we have for you today on this Plus Press special. We started with boxing and we ended with the National Youth Games. Thank you very much. Let's don't forget the conversation continues on all our social media platforms. And I remain your host, Mudassir Shitu. See you next week.
Fundamentally, hustle culture is about work dominating your time in such an unnatural way that we have no time to live our lives. The demanding nature of our world now, where people have to pay multiple bills, take care of family, has led to the need to make more money to meet those needs. Coupled with the constantly increasing cost of living and inflation, people can't stop working. The weekends are no longer spent relaxing and spending time with family, but catching up on work that couldn't be completed during the week or doing other side hustles that can provide that extra money to cover some bills. Now, people log in long hours and take on side hustles for many reasons. Eloho, a 28-year-old woman, has to take on multiple jobs of being an editor by day, an English language tutor by night, and an invigilator on the weekends.
The cost of living has really increased. Like, the inflation is at an all-time high. And salaries are they're not increasing that much. Even if they are, a friend of mine calculated it for me and said, even if you're earning like 100% more, now your expenses are not like 100% more. For example, I moved houses twice in the last 3 years, and now the rent I'm paying right now is like 200% of what I started with on this same salary. So I say my salary is for 3 different things. So like the day job is for living expenses. Electricity tariff has increased twice. There's water bill, there's light bill, there's so many things to consider. Then my 9th job is for skincare. Your skin starts caring when you take care of it. So, and skincare is now more expensive, just keeps getting more expensive. So like things that make me happy, that's what one of my income streams goes to. Another is for rent. Specifically dedicated to paying rent. And you know, I'm also a firstborn, first daughter, first granddaughter. So there's black tax too.
Oyidamola Abati is another young person who has found herself juggling many jobs and gigs.
In terms of the juggling, it's not so hard anymore. People do it now, like especially now that the pandemic changed everything really. Before the pandemic, people used to ask me, how do you do it? But now, everybody has to learn how to do it. I have friends that are working 3 jobs, that are working 4 jobs. It's stressful, but you know, you have to survive somehow. So for me, when it comes to passions, things that don't have to do with money, I work maybe, I can say once a week or on weekends. I have my easel here, so I do my paintings. If it has to do with resume writing business, I set up a schedule that enables me to work on that. I have people that work with me. You know, once a client comes in, there's step-by-step process. It's been assigned. You know, we have processes. So these things, this structure helps me keeps my life in focus. Everything, has a structure.
With the rising cost of living, many people don't have a choice but to work at multiple jobs and also own businesses. The economic realities and the proliferation of entrepreneurship has necessitated many into working multiple jobs and hustles to make ends meet. The average young Nigerian works at a job and does a small business on the side. With such little time to rest, it's no wonder burnout has cropped up in our vocabulary since 2020. Burnout is a condition that is classified as an occupational phenomenon by the World Health Organization resulting from workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. It is a state of physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. As the stress continues, you begin to lose interest and motivation that led you to take on certain roles in the first place.
Last December was the first December in 8 years I did not fall sick. And December, you have a little break. The first day of that break, that's when I fall sick. Because my body is used to just going and going and going. And as soon as I stop, the body's like, you thought I forgot. So there's this. It's never, and what's part about my kind of sickness is that it's never something you can find. It's really just stress. So in December 2019, I traveled, because I like to travel home every year. I went to Warri, and one Sunday, I just woke up and my body was hot. And so I was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, no, I'm fine. I wasn't eating, and I'm a foodie, so if I'm not eating, it's really bad. So I wasn't eating, so many things were going on, but I was really just hot, and I was shaking. And then I said, no, I'm going to church. So I went to church, and before I knew it, I landed in a church clinic. And then my mom came and she was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, Mommy, I'm tired. That was the only thing, Mommy, I'm tired. Doctor was like, there's nothing wrong with you, but your body is just hot and you look like you're about to faint. I was like, Mommy, I'm tired. So I lay my head on her shoulder, and the doctor was like, you're actually very tired. And they just admitted me. So I was just lying there on the bed. I remember I was wearing a new dress based on it was December. And I keep saying, I tell people that my new dress was christened in the hospital. I was just lying on the bed, like IV in my arm, and I was just tired.
I was like, I'm done. And I was like, for now, I'm just going to focus on my lecturing job. I know that even though it's a little, it can still pay some bills during the month. And I'm just going to manage for this period. So I took like a 3 to 6 month break. I said I wasn't doing anything else. So eventually, when I was ready again and I felt mentally up to it, I started applying for jobs again.
While hustle culture glorifies overworking as a badge of honor, it often sets up an environment of fear, guilt, and shame, especially when you don't feel like running at the same pace as everyone around you, according to Nicole Kamak, a clinical psychologist and the CEO of Black Mental Wellness. To avoid burnout, here are some tips. Seek support. Make time or find time to rest. Burnout can be preempted by learning to take breaks in between work projects. Don't wait till you're tired and burn out before you take a deserving rest. Take note of the activities that re-energizes you and schedule them into your regular activity.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's Tea Time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
I was pushed to the point that I had to start something not numb. And I'm a big risk taker and I enjoy doing things that nobody really does. I wanted something different from every other art form that has been pushed out there. I didn't have that fulfillment in what I was doing and I really wanted to express myself more as an artist, and I decided to resign and go into practicing art full time. I loved subjects that had illustrations or drawings in them. I just kept pushing it and went to the extent of studying art in school. So it's been art all my life for me. I try to conceptualize what I want to create in my head. Even in as much as scattered as it might be, I create it in my head first, then I put it on paper. I sketch, then I try to pick colors, and I proceed to the main piece. A friend of mine told me, like, there's really nothing that could be achieved with graffiti here. The piece behind me is titled Bold Steps. So I'm just trying to put my own, as an abstract journey of African fashion has come so far. The word there is Ikeakpa. Ikeakpa is a Bini word for movement. So we are it's just a movement, and we have the shoes here, which shows the flow and the storm which the movement creates, while working. I'm Osa 7. I'm an African.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Good afternoon, I am Shade Uwe, and this is the news brief. Opposition lawmaker Yusuf Galambi, representing the Gwaram Federal Constituency in Jigawa State, has claimed that Tinubu only submitted an empty document during his Wednesday budget presentation speech before the National Assembly. However, Alassane Doguwa, the lawmaker for the Doguwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency in Kano, has kicked against the allegation. Doguwa emphasized that Tinubu gave out hard copies of the speech following protocol, as well as a flash drive that had soft copies of the whole appropriation bills and estimates. The Labour Party in Imo State has alleged that the Independent National Electoral Commission is denying its access to beavers used for the November 11 governorship election. The party's chairman, Mr. Callistus Ihejiawa, who said this while addressing newsmen in Owerri, added that the denial of access to the beavers was in defiance of the November 26th order of the Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Owerri. Ihejiawa said the forensic inspection of election materials, including the beavers, is contained in the order of the tribunal. Governor Alex Otti has concluded plans to increase the salaries of the Abia State workforce. Otti disclosed this in Umuahia during a media parley with journalists, stating that he is engaging with stakeholders to improve the minimum wage of the state workers. in line with the realities at hand, and that soonest the package would be made public. The governor also explained that he didn't sack permanent secretaries in the state, stating that the officials were first placed on suspension and that their removal was in line with what was obtained at the federal level and that due process was followed. A new police public relations officer has been posted to the Bayelsa State Command. ASP Musa Mohammed takes over duty from CSP Asinim Buswat. Prior to the new appointment as the PPRO, he was formerly the deputy PPRO. ASP Musa Mohammed is an indigene of Owan East local government area of Edo State and a graduate of the prestigious Nigeria Police Academy, Wudil, Kano. Governor Babagana Zulum has pledged to continue to support the military in the fight against insurgency in the northeast Nigeria. He stated this during the operational visits of the Minister of Defense and State, Chief of Army Staff, Naval Chief, and the Chief of the Air Staff at the Borno State Government House in Maiduguri.
Nowadays, Boko Haram, they are not strong. But sometimes they want to put on the oxygen of information dissemination, and therefore we have to be very careful. Within the last 2 weeks, I've been to the local credits in the state, and the reports reaching me from the Royal Highnesses and from the communities have clearly indicated that gradually peace is completely returning to Borno State. Therefore, I want to commend His Excellency the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, commend the Minister of Defense, both the Vic and the State Minister, and the service chiefs for sustaining the security situation in the state.
He has advised us adequately, and he has shared a lot of strategies with the Chief of Defense Staff and the service chiefs, and together they agree on the next line of action, and we believe if followed religiously, we will come to the end of this fight. And I want to assure you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is willing to support us all through to see to the end of this fight.
Following efforts in safeguarding the Nigerian maritime space, the Nigerian Navy have concluded the 2023 edition of the Chief of Naval Staff Annual Sea Inspection Exercise, code-named Exercise Nchekwa Oshimiri. The training exercise, which lasted for 3 days, was carried out largely in the Gulf of Guinea and was designed to get officers and men of the Navy ready to combat all maritime threats within Nigeria's territorial waters. Details in this report. Aboard the Nigerian Navy ship Kada, the Minister of State for Defense fires the pyrotechnics and performs the ceremonial flag waving, signaling the start of exercise Nchekwa Oshimiri, the Chief of Naval Staff's annual sea inspection. 3 days of consistent military exercises in the Atlantic Ocean, designed to equip personnel of the Nigerian Navy with the necessary skills to combat threats to Nigeria's maritime environment. The commanding officer of the NNS, Kada, explains the objectives and takeaways of the exercise.
Now, the exercise covers so many aspects of security challenges that we face in Nigerian maritime domain as well as the Gulf of Guinea, such as issues of piracy, illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. The aim of this exercise is to work up the fleet and improve our operational capability in handling these challenges. So far so good, we have been able to handle them effectively as well reported in the international fora. we started our major scenarios centered around anti-piracy activities. And we had a merchant vessel simulate a rogue vessel or vessel of interest engaged in anti-piracy activities, of which we dispatched some of our ships, like Nigerian Navy ship Aba and Nigerian Navy ship Oji, to intercept this rogue vessel and conduct visit, boarding, seizure, and search.
Representative of the Chief of the Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Mohammed, in an interview with newsmen, highlights the importance of the exercise in securing the Gulf of Guinea. He also reveals that during the exercise, some actual arrests were made.
This has enabled the Navy to enhance maritime security, and within the period we interrogated several ships, one of which was found wanting. She has been arrested and escorted to harbor. And the exercise too has afforded us, the Navy, to walk up the ships and further the training of the personnel on board the ships for better performance of our constitutional mandate of securing Nigeria's maritime domain.
Correspondence reports that in total, 13 ships and 2 helicopters took part in the exercise, and some of the drills include shooting practice, man overboard, and fast roping of Navy personnel aboard a vessel from a chopper. The Nigerian Senate has strongly condemned the growing practice of governors dissolving elected local government administrations of democratically elected councils in Benue State.
To halt the erosion of democracy, the dissolution of elected councils in Benue State. The Senate notes with dismay the dissolution of democratically elected councils in Benue State. The Senate also notes that in placing caretaker committees to replace elected councils is an aberration and alien to the 1999 Constitution as amended of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Contributing to the debate, Senators Adams Oshiomhole, Ali Ndume, Abdul Fattah Buhari, and Victor Ume lamented that 16 states run their local government areas with sole administrators or caretaker committees.
Governors are executive, but those elected people also have executive chairman. They also have executive powers within the provisions of the Nigeria Constitution. So I think it is time that this Senate lend its voice and forcefully persuade the Minister of Finance that wherever there is no elected council chairman.
But the critical thing is that the National Assembly and the Senate must put a stop to this flagrant breach of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are lawmakers, and if we make laws that are not obeyed, it means that we don't have democracy again. This is the time the Senate will come out very hard on this matter, because I know that over the years, some of these matters have gone up to the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and the Supreme Court has emphatically pronounced that caretaker committees are illegal.
In his ruling, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, frowned at the establishment of multiple federal agencies, advocated for the creation of the National Electoral Commission for local government in a bid to reduce the overbearing influence of state governors on council polls.
What we now do is, if we agree that the Ministry of Finance should not release the money to them, I think that's the only option that we have here as a National Assembly, since we have constitutional oversight responsibility over the... So in the prayers, maybe we should emphasize that anybody that has caretaker put in place, his money should be kept aside until democratically elected local government takes over.
17 to 18 states now are running local government. And then there is this idea that I must win all local government elections, even if I'm KKK party. The moment you do it, Mr. President, how do you justify a senator, a rep member, coming from an opposition but different from the party, and the governor will not do election, the senator will not win his local government?
Approach which I think we can actually adopt, and that approach will be an amendment, or even I don't like creating more agencies and commissions, but if we have something like National Electoral Commission for local governments, and then the local government elections council or chairmanship are organized nationally. Even if you don't use INEC, you just have a body, just like you have what they call, like in states, they have state electoral commission. If you have a national local government electoral commission that organizes local government elections nationally, you will see that all sorts of local governments will tumble.
The Nigerian Senate has strongly condemned all forms of violence against women and girls, emphasizing the need for more robust measures to safeguard their interests. This position was articulated during Thursday's plenary, where the senators actively participated in the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence on women and the girl child. Details in this report.
Adorning orange sashes as a symbol of solidarity for the advocacy, the lawmakers, including the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, were united in their commitment to address this critical issue. The advocacy motion was sponsored by 17 senators, spearheaded by Senator Ireti Kingibe, representing the FCT.
Since the launch of the National Gender-Based Data Room and Dashboard, over 28,000 cases of gender-based violence have been reported nationwide. In all these reported cases, over 9,000 have been opened against offenders, while over 8,000 are still pending in various courts, as over 1,800 cases have been withdrawn, either by the courts, community intervention, family and victims that have become afraid or intimidated to withdraw the case. The number of convictions are only 455, and sadly, the number of fatalities from GBV are over 1,250.
Voicing their support to the motion, Senators Adams Oshiomhole, Natasha Akpoti, and Abdul Ningi, among others, acknowledged the virtues and sacrifices made by women globally, with a specific emphasis on those in Nigeria.
I think we just be doing justice to the foundation of our own, of our system, by not only passing motions like the UN is doing without teeth to bite. We should pass laws with appropriate tools and encourage the police to enforce those laws and prosecute.
I'd lend my voice in calling for a stop in all form of violence against girls, children, schools, workplaces, and also ask that all the agencies that are responsible in mitigating this flaw step up in their responsibilities so that our women will have a safe place to live and thrive. I so submit. Thank you.
It takes two to tango. The women folk also must at every given time know their position in society. And you men, as they listen, to also rise to the occasion. They are human beings like every other of us, and therefore they must not allow themselves to play second fiddle. They are not second fiddle. They are the important foundation of every human society.
In concluding the debate before the motion was passed, the Senate President declared that all the senators are in agreement that violence against women and girl child must be unequivocally condemned.
Please, as we protect the rights of women, we should also protect the rights of men. There are men who are suffering under their wives. There are many men who are groaning and nobody is listening to them because United Nations has not yet taken up the issue of violence against men. On that note, I thank all of us for your contributions and urge that God Almighty will give all of us the wisdom to protect the women and protect the girl child.
A minute's silence was thereafter observed to honor the memory of all women and individuals who lost their lives due to violence.
Now moving on to other parts of Africa. Nearly 11 months after the assassination of Cameroonian radio host Martinez Zogo, the state scandal that it triggered continues to shake the nation. On Friday morning, the prime suspects in the murder of the late 50-year-old journalist were set to be released. The businessman and his counterpart are accused of having played a role in the death of the director of Radio Amplitude FM, Zogo, whose tortured body was discovered on the outskirts of Yaoundé in January. Zogo had been missing for 5 days before his remains were located January 22 near Sceaux, a suburb of Yaoundé. Guinea-Bissau's army announced on Friday that it has detained the leader of the security forces unit responsible for overnight clashes in the capital and asserted that the situation was now under control. Throughout the night and into Friday morning, gunfire erupted in Bissau during confrontations between members of the National Guard and Presidential Guard Special Forces. The gunfire ensued following the release of 2 government members by National Guard soldiers who had been questioned by the police on Thursday. And in outside Africa, Israel renews bombardment of Gaza, hitting areas across the enclave after the end of a week-long truce, though negotiations to secure another pause in the fighting continues. UN humanitarian chief again calls for ceasefire in Gaza, saying Palestinians in the besieged territory are surrounded by disease, destruction, and death. More than 15,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since October 7th, while in Israel the official death toll stands at about 1,200. In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has announced it will freeze bank accounts without a bank verification number or national identification number from April 2024. This is according to a circular jointly signed by the Director of Payment Systems Management Department, Chibuzo Efobi, and Director of Financial Policy and Regulation Department, Haruna Mustafa. The Apex Bank revealed that a BVN or NIN verification will be conducted shortly. The CBN had also directed a post-no debit restriction on bank accounts without BVN and NIN starting from second quarter of next month. And in entertainment, Tiffany Haddish could be legally restricted from consuming drugs or alcohol in the wake of a recent DUI arrest, which marks her second in less than 2 years. Haddish was arrested last Friday in Beverly Hills, California, in connection with DUI when officers found her sleeping in an automobile with the engine running, which was on a busy Beverly Drive at the time. The Emmy-winning actress-comedian was previously taken into custody on January 14, 2022 in Peachtree City, Georgia, after officers found her sleeping behind the wheel of her car. Pop singer Taylor Swift has denied rumors that she wed ex-boyfriend Joe Alwyn before their shock split in 2023. The singer's longtime publicist, Trey Payne, took to Twitter to slam claims made by a gossip page which claimed that Swift had married Alwyn in either 2020 or 2021, but it was never made legal. She also insisted that there was never a marriage or ceremony of any kind and that the outlet was insane for reporting otherwise. And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us from Limex on limex.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. I am Shade Uwe. Many thanks for watching.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
And 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
After a bruising fight over its leadership, a new Congress takes over Capitol Hill. How will divided government impact America's direction? From immigration to defending Ukraine, now the inside story, new Congress, new challenges.
Hi, I'm Katherine Gibson, VOA's congressional correspondent here on Capitol Hill, where the new 118th Congress is trying to make its mark. Democrats managed to hold on to control of the U.S. Senate in November's elections, while Republicans took control of the House of Representatives, giving President Joe Biden a divided Congress to work with for the next 2 years. And the lengthy battle among House Republicans to choose their leader suggests any agreements with the White House will be few and far between.
So help you God.
Republican leader Kevin McCarthy emerged from a rare 4-day battle to become Speaker of the House.
The House will be in order.
Touting Republicans' accomplishments in their first full week of work.
Government should be here to help you, not to go after you. Be able to protect the unborn. We just protected the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, where the president can no longer deplete it and sell our oil to China. And we opened the House